The bridge I didn't know I was building. Years ago, I found myself standing in a boardroom in Tokyo. The air was thick with formality, and the executives around me were waiting for a solution. Not just a strategic plan but a signal. A signal that someone understood the complexity they were facing. I had the data. I had the frameworks. But what I didn't have yet was the courage to speak from the center of my own truth. So, I paused. I looked out the window at the skyline, and I asked a question that wasn't on the agenda: what does success look like if we are not aligned with our values? The room went silent. And then something shifted. One by one, they began to speak not about metrics, but about meaning. About legacy. About impact. That moment taught me something I have never forgotten: authenticity builds trust. Purpose builds direction. But when you combine both, you build a bridge, one that others are willing to walk across with you. Today, we are going to explore that bridge. Not as a metaphor, but as a leadership practice. Because in a world of polycrisis, fractured trust, and generational complexity, the leaders who thrive are the ones who lead from the center.
In a world where trust in leadership is at an all-time low, two competing approaches are emerging as potential solutions. Today, we're diving into authentic leadership versus purposeful leadership, what they mean, how they differ, and why it matters for the future of organizations. By the end of this episode, you'll understand which style might be right for you and how to implement it effectively.
You know, it's fascinating how these two leadership styles have gained prominence, especially in our current business environment. According to recent research, authentic leadership has become increasingly crucial as organizations navigate complex challenges.
Can you break down what authentic leadership actually means? I feel like it's one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot.
Absolutely. According to the 2024 research from Harvard Business School, authentic leadership is rooted in self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a commitment to leading with ethics. It's about being genuinely yourself while leading others.
That makes sense. But how does that differ from purposeful leadership?
Well, purposeful leadership focuses more on aligning organizational goals with core values to create meaningful impact. The Leaders on Purpose CEO study from 2024 shows it's becoming a strategic necessity, especially in our current era of what they call polycrisis.
Polycrisis? That's an interesting term.
Yeah, it refers to when multiple crises intersect and amplify each other. Think climate change, economic instability, technology disruption, all happening simultaneously.
And how do these different leadership styles handle such complex challenges?
That's where it gets interesting. Recent studies show authentic leaders gain authority through trust and credibility, while purposeful leaders excel at driving innovation and adaptation during uncertain times.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Here's a fascinating case from the Forbes research. Authentic leaders typically communicate transparently and build trust through vulnerability, like when Steve Jobs openly shared about being fired from Apple in his Stanford speech.
That's quite powerful. What about purposeful leaders?
Purposeful leaders focus more on connecting individual actions to broader organizational meaning. The 2024 Purpose Factor research shows they excel at helping teams see how their work contributes to larger societal goals.
So it's almost like authentic leadership is about the who, and purposeful leadership is about the why?
Exactly. And research shows both approaches have distinct benefits. Authentic leadership drives higher employee engagement and trust, while purposeful leadership creates stronger alignment and resilience.
I've heard there's an interesting FBI connection to authentic leadership. Can you share that?
Oh, yes, this is fascinating. A former FBI agent shared in Forbes how authenticity saved her life during an undercover operation. When questioned by criminals, being genuine about everything except her identity built crucial trust.
Wow, that's intense. Really shows the power of authenticity.
Absolutely. And it translates directly to business. The research shows that trying to imitate others or putting on a facade ultimately undermines leadership effectiveness.
Let's talk about outcomes. What does the research say about the impact of these different styles?
Recent studies show organizations led by authentic leaders experience higher productivity and profitability. Meanwhile, purposeful leadership drives stronger long-term sustainability and innovation.
Are there any downsides to either approach?
Yes, authentic leadership can sometimes lead to oversharing or decision paralysis from too much transparency. Purposeful leadership might occasionally prioritize mission over immediate practical needs.
That makes sense. How do you see these styles evolving with changing workplace dynamics?
The research indicates a trend toward hybrid approaches. With 5 generations now in the workplace and increasing demands for both trust and purpose, leaders are learning to blend both styles.
Interesting. Can you elaborate on that generational aspect?
According to recent studies, younger generations particularly value both authenticity and purpose. They want leaders who are genuine but also connect work to meaningful impact.
That's fascinating. How do these different generations respond to each style?
Research shows baby boomers tend to appreciate authentic leadership's transparency, while Gen Z strongly resonates with purposeful leadership's focus on social impact.
Let's talk about implementation. How can leaders develop these qualities?
The 2024 leadership development studies emphasize self-awareness as crucial for authentic leadership, while purpose-driven leadership requires clear articulation of organizational values and mission.
Are there specific exercises or practices you'd recommend?
Yes, research suggests regular reflection practices for authentic leadership and stakeholder engagement exercises for purposeful leadership. Both require consistent practice and feedback.
How do these approaches affect decision-making?
According to recent studies, authentic leaders tend to make decisions based on values and transparency, while purposeful leaders focus more on long-term impact and alignment with organizational mission.
That's interesting. What about crisis situations?
The research shows both styles have advantages in crises. Authentic leaders build trust through honest communication, while purposeful leaders help maintain focus on core mission during turbulent times.
How do these styles impact innovation?
Recent studies indicate authentic leadership creates psychological safety that encourages creative thinking, while purposeful leadership drives innovation aligned with organizational goals.
What about team dynamics?
The research shows authentic leadership fosters stronger interpersonal connections, while purposeful leadership creates better team alignment around shared goals.
How do these styles affect employee retention?
According to 2024 workplace studies, both styles positively impact retention. Authentic leadership through trust and engagement, purposeful leadership through meaningful work and clear direction.
What about remote work situations?
Interesting question. Recent research shows authentic leadership becomes even more crucial in remote settings, while purposeful leadership helps maintain connection to organizational mission across distance.
How do these styles handle conflict?
Studies indicate authentic leaders address conflict through open dialogue and transparency, while purposeful leaders focus on aligning conflicting parties around shared objectives.
What about measuring success?
The research shows authentic leadership success is often measured through employee engagement and trust metrics, while purposeful leadership looks at mission alignment and impact measures.
Are there industry differences in effectiveness?
Yes, studies show authentic leadership particularly effective in healthcare and education, while purposeful leadership shows strong results in tech and social enterprise sectors.
How do these styles affect organizational culture?
Recent research indicates authentic leadership creates more open and trusting cultures, while purposeful leadership develops more mission-driven and aligned cultures.
What about stress levels and burnout?
Studies show both styles help reduce burnout, authentic leadership through better work-life boundaries, purposeful leadership by connecting work to meaningful impact.
How do these approaches affect diversity and inclusion efforts?
The research indicates both styles support D&I, authentic leadership by creating psychological safety, purposeful leadership by embedding inclusion in organizational mission.
What about succession planning?
Recent studies show authentic leaders tend to develop more individualized succession plans, while purposeful leaders focus on maintaining organizational mission continuity.
As we wrap up, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
The research clearly shows both styles have their place. The most effective leaders understand when to emphasize authenticity and when to focus on purpose. It's not about choosing one over the other.
That's really helpful. Any final thoughts?
Yes, the latest studies suggest the future of leadership will likely be a hybrid approach, combining the trust-building power of authentic leadership with the directional clarity of purposeful leadership.
That makes a lot of sense. What should leaders do next?
Research recommends starting with self-assessment, understanding your natural tendencies, and then deliberately developing skills in both areas.
Fascinating discussion. Any resources you'd recommend?
The 2024 Leaders on Purpose study and recent Harvard Business School research on authentic leadership are excellent starting points for deeper understanding.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Copilot Podcasts. Remember, whether you choose authenticity or purpose, the key is consistency and genuine commitment to your approach.
And just like that FBI agent discovered, being true to yourself while serving a greater purpose might just be the perfect combination.
The mandala I didn't know I was living. Years after that moment in Tokyo, I found myself coaching a young leader, brilliant, driven, but exhausted. She had mastered every framework, hit every metric, and yet, something was missing. I asked her to pause, to reflect. And I gave her a simple prompt: what part of your leadership feels most alive? She stared at me, then whispered, when I stop performing and start connecting. That's when I realized, we are all living inside a mandala. A pattern of trust, purpose, clarity, and impact. But most leaders only see the outer rings: strategy, execution, results. They forget the center. The center is where transformation begins. It's where authenticity meets purpose. It's where leadership becomes legacy. So, here is my invitation to you: don't just lead with skill. Lead with soul. Don't just build systems. Build bridges. Don't just chase outcomes. Create ripples. The future doesn't need perfect leaders. It needs whole ones. And if you are willing to lead from the center, your center, then everything you touch will reflect that truth. Let's go build that future together.